guys, let's talk squats. I recently did a post about squat depth and then it was pointed out by someone that I hadn't done anything that explains squats in depth. So here I am talking about squats and everything to do with squats, the good, the bad and the ugly. Well, almost everything. Let's start with your squat cues and what you should be thinking about when you're doing your squat, right? So we're going to start from head to toe. Starting with your head, you have to keep your head always neutral. It's connected to your neck, connected to your spine. So imagine there's a rod running right from here up to there. So this entire area stays connected. You do not have your neck hanging down here or back there. The rod is in here, so this is always straight. Looking forward, shoulders roll back, and you're going to sit down. See, my neck is looking straight. I'm looking forward, not up or down, right? So we're done with our neck up to our spine, and that's your entire back. Also, your shoulders need to be rolled back and down always, because in case you happen to be loading your movements, you would have the barbell over here resting on your traps. So when you do this, you create a cushion. The cushion will be right here. It's not on your shoulders, it's below your shoulders here, right? So shoulders roll back. So from neck, we are coming to shoulders, down and looking forward again, and you're going down and back up. Next, we're going to go to the midsection, your core, and this is your most important part of your body. As always, you have to keep your core engaged. In case you don't know how to do that, go back to my previous video to find out about how to engage your core. If you can't find it, hit me up and I will let you know where to find that. So when you're going to engage your core, that will support your entire upper body, keep your posture straight, support your spine, and also help with your center of gravity in case you're loading your movement. Even if you're not, it's still going to help do the squat at the best possible, with the best possible movement, keeping your core engaged, right? So now we're going to do that again. We have head, shoulders and core. Core is engaged, shoulders roll back, looking forward, straight up, and you're going to go down and come back up again. Next, we're going to go to the hips, and most people will say, this is how wide my hips are, so this is where my legs should be. Wrong, completely wrong. Do not do that, because that's not going to be your right normal standard squat stance. This is going to be a sumo squat stance, right? We want to start with a normal squat stance, and if you can't do that, you go into a sumo squat. So your stance is going to be based on this. You find, and if you pulsate over here, you'll find there's a bone. When you find this bone, you've got that same bone on both sides. These are your hip bones. Find that bone, and directly under that bone, you're going to, obviously that's where your legs would be, your leg bones. So you have to stand in that stance, because at the end of the day, your leg is, again, your bones are your foundation. That's the inner structure. Everything else that's covering the bones is not going to govern what your stance is, right? So you stand with your feet directly under. These are my bones. I've pulsated, I found them. My legs are directly under there. My feet are slightly turned out because you get better range if they're slightly turned out, but it depends on you. Maybe you have extreme flexibility and you can keep your feet forward and still be able to get good range, right? So if you keep them slightly turned out, it might work for you. So do that, trial and error of exactly how wide it is. Find your bones, find your stance. If this doesn't work for you, go a little bit wider. Maybe you need to have a little wider stance, because that's what your body is designed to do, right? I can't tell you what your body can do unless we do a trial and error, and of course unless you've done some scans and found out exactly what your range is, what your hip bone, the socket and bone kind of structure is like, the depth of that. Too much detail for this video, but that will govern exactly how much you'll be able to go down and what your distance should be between your feet. Okay, so I'm going to show you from the side now. My feet are hip wide, toes are slightly pointed out. I'm going to go down, core is engaged, and I'm looking forward, breathing, Breathe in on the way down, breathe out on the way up, right? Right? So, as you can see, we've covered most of the important things over here. Now we're going to go to the next point, which is your glutes. I'm sure you've seen people do their squat like this. They come up and then they extend their hips all the way out here, right? This, like they're putting their belly out. So that is wrong. Do not do this, okay? What you need to be doing is down, up, squeeze your glutes. So this is when I squeeze my glutes here, and this is when I overextend and overarch my back. When I overarch my back, it's only hurting my back. When I squeeze my glutes, it's working my quads, it's activating them, it's working my glutes as well, which is my back muscles. Now, if you want to work those, which you do in a squat, right? So, down and up. Glutes are squeezed, right? So, that's all you need to do. Squeeze your glutes. That's it. So, what that also does is it will straighten your knees. When you're squeezing your glutes, automatically you will straighten your knees. So, if you're like this, your knees are soft, you've not squeezed your glutes, you will also feel a bit of a bend over here. Right? We don't want that. We want to squeeze your glutes. To squeeze your glutes, you actually will tighten this and tighten this. Okay, so try and do that. It might take a little bit of mind-body work to get it right. But once you have it right, it works seamlessly and it really does help in building those muscles, the right ones. Now, we're going to one of the most well-known myths about doing a squat. And that is your knees going over your toes when you're doing your squat. So if you watch me from the side here again, you see my toes, you see my knees. And if I go down, you can see my knees are ending here. It's ending in front of my toes. Is that an issue? No, it's not, because that's the way that my body is designed. So my ankle flexibility might be different from your ankle flexibility. The combination of my ankle flexibility and my hip flexibility is going to determine how my knee travels. So how far is my knee going to go? Somebody else might have a different, of course, size of both of your leg bones here, a different hip flexibility, which is your ball and socket out here on your hips, and also the ankle flexibility as well if you've had a previous injury or something like that. So I can go that much further. It causes no injury whatever to my knees. I have no pain. I'm able to load my movements with fairly heavy weight as well, and there's no issue. Now this is tried and tested and been proven some time back, but still a lot of people will follow the rule that you can't have your knees going over your toes. Wrong. Please ignore that completely. As long as you feel no pain and you're comfortable, your weight is on your heels. Very important, weight on the heels, not on the toes. You're fine. So when you're going down again, let's do that one more time. I'm getting my lower body workout in as well with all these squats. So you're going down here, weight is on the heels. So if you see my toes, let me move that to the side a little. Look at my toes. Is this better? Yeah. Okay, so let's say I go down all the way here. You see my toes moving? Yeah, so I can move my toes because my weight is completely on my heels. The last thing again to talk about is squat depth, which I did an earlier post about. Now, what did I mean with squat depth? This is going to be 90 degrees here, where my thighs are parallel, my hamstrings and quads are parallel to the floor. But if I want to go lower, this is going to be lower. And that is going to give you the most muscle growth in that movement. So if you can go to that depth, you have no injuries or any issues, do it, and that will give you the most growth. To do that as well, you might need to widen your stance a little just to be able to go down so much. But you also need to keep your back straight. Don't let this roll and curve in the back. Weight on the heels and come all the way up. Squeeze your glutes and tighten your quads as well. I hope that was helpful. Just to summarize exactly what we're going to be thinking about. Looking forward, shoulders roll back and down, core engage. Your stance is going to be hip wide. As you go down, you want to be able to breathe in on the way down, breathe out on the way up, and your weight is always on your heels. You also want to squeeze your glutes and your quads as you come up. do not arch your back. Do not care about the fact that your knees are going over your toes as long as you have no injury or issues. That is the summary of it all. I hope it was helpful. And if you have any questions, please throw them at me. I would be more than happy to answer and do another follow-up video to this. Right? Great. Thank you so much for your time. Please like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If it was enlightening to you at any point, even just a wee bit, please do share it because it helps that everybody is aware of all of these squat cues. Even if one cue seemed like, wow, I didn't know that, please share it, subscribe, like, follow, do all that stuff. Yes? Thank you. Take care, stay safe and lift heavy. Well, lift as much as you can.